Have you ever stumbled upon those surprising claims that a woman's facial features, body shape, even her nose size, can reveal something about her sexual anatomy? It might sound astonishing, but such ideas have circulated in various cultures for generations. Today, let's dive into these so-called facts about a woman's body that continue to fascinate and sometimes baffle people from around the world. We'll explore whether there's any real science behind them, talk about the cultural myths that keep these beliefs alive, and discuss what all of this might mean for a woman's sexual health and emotional well-being. Before we begin, I want to emphasize that truly scientific research does not support most of the correlations we're about to discuss. Body features like nose shape, thigh gap, and cheek structure do not reliably indicate whether a woman's private area is big or small. In reality, female genital anatomy varies greatly from person to person. However, many of these claims persist as cultural curiosities, so let's look into each one, consider why they might have arisen, and weigh them against what modern peer-reviewed science actually says. And a quick note, when you see or hear statements like small nose equals small vagina or flat butt equals big vagina, please understand these are unverified beliefs. Some are outright myths. Yet, because these beliefs pop up frequently, they can shape how some men and women view sexual attractiveness and compatibility. By the end of this video, my hope is you'll come away with a better understanding of just how complex and individual a woman's body truly is. Number 1, the small nose equals smaller vagina belief. There's a myth that if a woman has a small nose, it indicates she also has a smaller vaginal opening or less flesh in her private area. In certain social circles, this is seen as a shocking or secret insight into a woman's intimate anatomy. The idea is that smaller facial features correlate with smaller flesh distribution elsewhere in the body. But if we look at medical research, such as comprehensive anthropometric studies published in journals like Human Anatomy, there is zero evidence of a correlation between nose shape and vaginal size. The variation in nose size mostly depends on genetics, ethnicity, and overall facial bone structure, not on the anatomy of the pelvis or vaginal canal. Why does this rumor persist then? Possibly it's because humans like to find patterns, even where none exist. We're wired to try to predict or guess traits in a partner that might affect intimacy. But in this case, the guesswork isn't grounded in any scientific fact. So if you ever come across someone making confident claims about a woman with a small nose having a small vagina, remember, it's more cultural folklore than medical reality. Number 2, gap teeth indicate a smaller V. Another popular assertion is that a woman with gap teeth, commonly noticed when the upper front teeth have a space between them, might also have a smaller or tighter vagina. Here's the catch. There's no reputable medical or dental source linking the spacing of one's teeth to the thickness or external structure of the vaginal area. Gap teeth, called diastema, are usually the result of factors like jawbone size, tissue attachments, and even tongue-thrusting habits. According to the American Dental Association, gaps in the teeth can be genetic or influenced by early childhood habits like thumb-sucking. None of these factors has any bearing on the anatomy of the female pelvis or genitals. However, this belief likely endures because of anecdotal observations or rumors. When people see a pattern, like my friend with gap teeth also seems to have certain sexual traits, they might assume there's a universal rule. Yet that is not how the human body works. So while hearing that women with gap teeth have smaller privates might be entertaining gossip, don't mistake it for scientific truth. Number 3, big cheeks mean less flesh down there. Cultural lore sometimes claims that if a woman has naturally puffy or rounded cheeks, it signals she has a smaller external genital area. Again, there's no scientific confirmation. Facial fullness is often a product of genetics, facial muscle structure, and overall body composition, completely separate from a woman's pelvis or her external genitalia. According to a study in the Journal of Craniofacial Surgery, cheek fullness can be influenced by how much subcutaneous fat a woman's face accumulates, her skeletal structure, and even her hydration levels. None of these is a predictor for vaginal dimensions. Yet, it's common for these myths to keep circulating in certain cultural contexts. Some might say, oh, she has chubby cheeks but is slim otherwise, so she must have a small vagina. Much like the nose size myth, this one seems to exist purely as a conversation starter or a sensational claim without any medical footing. Number 4. Slim women equals smaller genital area. Next on the list is the argument that slim women automatically have a smaller vagina. This might stem from the assumption that because a woman's arms and legs carry less fat, the external genital area also carries less flesh. While body fat distribution can indeed influence the mons pubis, the fleshy part above the labia, there is no conclusive evidence that a slimmer body habitus means a smaller internal vaginal size or narrower vaginal canal. According to a study published in the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the size of the vagina is highly individual and does not strictly depend on overall body fat or body mass index, BMI. Hormone levels, genetic factors, and age can all play a larger role in how the external tissue appears. So why do some people assume a slender figure guarantees a smaller, intimate area? Sometimes stereotypes come from minimal observation or anecdotal evidence. People might notice 1 or 2 slim women who happen to have a certain body type down there and then generalize it to everyone. But from a medical standpoint, there's no universal truth to that assumption. Number 5, leg shape, the B-leg or bow legs indicator. In some cultures, there's a belief that women with bow legs, often referred to as B-legs, have smaller vaginas. The misconception may arise from visually connecting the shape of the legs with the pelvic structure. While severe forms of bow legs, genuvarum, can be related to bone alignment issues, the shape of one's legs doesn't reliably indicate anything about the reproductive organs. Experts in orthopedics and gynecology, such as those associated with the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, generally confirm that being ball-legged is more about the curvature of the tibia or femur and does not correlate with vaginal size or shape. Still, if you ask around, certain communities might swear by this correlation, claiming that most women with bow legs are smaller. It's crucial to remember that personal anecdotes often get treated as fact, but the plural of anecdote is not data. Whenever you hear these generalized statements, it's wise to approach them with a healthy dose of skepticism. Number 6, narrow space between the thighs equals smaller anatomy. You might have heard of the thigh gap phenomenon, where the thighs don't touch when a person stands with her feet together. Some claim that a smaller gap indicates a smaller external genital area, whereas a larger gap suggests a bigger one. In reality, the presence or absence of a thigh gap is largely influenced by pelvis width, leg shape, and overall body composition, not the morphology of the vagina or vulva. A 2019 study in Body Image found that perceptions surrounding thigh gap are often tied to cultural standards of beauty rather than actual health or anatomical facts. Nonetheless, the myth persists. Some individuals insist that if you see a woman whose thighs touch each other, she must have less flesh down there, while a bigger gap means the opposite. Remember, these claims are rooted more in gossip and assumption than in verifiable scientific evidence. Number 7. Long, slim fingers correlate with a tight private area. Another widely circulated notion is that a woman with long, thin fingers also has a small or tight vagina. This idea presumably springs from the same overarching assumption that if a particular body part is slender, every other body part must follow suit. But hand and finger shape are guided by a variety of genetic factors, including bone structure, growth plate development, and overall body proportions. You won't find peer-reviewed gynecological studies stating that finger shape predicts anything about a woman's genital structure. Still, some people hold on to this belief, possibly because they've known 1 or 2 women with slender fingers who also reported certain sensations during intimacy. In reality, each woman's body is unique, and finger length or width doesn't offer any insight into the composition of the vulva or vaginal canal. Number 8. Women with small breasts means. We often hear statements like a woman with small breasts must be small everywhere else, implying that a woman with a smaller bust is automatically slender or less fleshy in her intimate regions. Scientifically, breast size is influenced by factors like genetic predisposition, hormonal balance, and body fat distribution. None of these definitively predicts the shape or size of the vulva or the vaginal canal. Breasts can be smaller for a variety of reasons: metabolism, hormone levels, or simply inherited body type without bearing any relationship to other areas. Interestingly, there are even conflicting rumors. Some say smaller breasts imply a more petite overall anatomy, while others claim small-breasted women might have unexpectedly large hips or thighs. So if you've heard that a small-chested woman automatically has a smaller vagina, know that there's no research-based evidence to confirm such a sweeping generalization. Our bodies are far more diverse and complex than any single measurement can reveal. Number 9, flat butt equals big, private area. One of the more intriguing beliefs is that women with flat buttocks allegedly have a larger vagina. Some reasons people come up with might include, if there's less fat stored in the gluteal area, the body compensates by having more tissue in the front. This is speculation, not science. Butt shape is primarily influenced by pelvic structure, muscle mass, especially the gluteus maximus, and overall fat distribution, as shown in numerous fitness and anatomy publications, including those by the American Council on Exercise. While it's true that body fat can distribute in surprising ways, claiming that a flat rear equals a big vagina is an oversimplification. Two women with similarly flat buttocks can have vastly different experiences in terms of sexual health, comfort, and the shape of their external genitalia. Genetic diversity is enormous, and there's no one-size-fits-all pattern to how the female body develops. Number 10, big butt equals small or tighter, private area. Conversely, some people proclaim that a woman blessed with a naturally full, round backside is more likely to have a tighter or smaller vagina. Others assume that if there's a substantial amount of tissue behind, there must be less in the front. Again, these are cultural assumptions that conflate how body fat is distributed with the dimensions of pelvic organs. What experts in gynecology will tell you is that the external appearance of the butt does not dictate the shape or size of a woman's reproductive anatomy. Moreover, many factors, such as childbirth, hormonal fluctuations, and age, can influence pelvic floor strength and the feel of the vagina. It's rarely as simple as saying big butt, small private area. Each woman's body is her own complex tapestry of hormones, muscles, and genetic coding. Why do these myths persist? You might be wondering why these ideas about nose size, gap teeth, butt shape, and so forth have persisted for so long. One explanation is that humans have always been curious about how to identify the ideal mate. Folklore and cultural tales often turn into rules of thumb, passed down through word of mouth. In many regions, people don't talk openly about sexuality, so myths flourish in secret or hush-hush conversations. Pop culture and social media also play a part, amplifying rumors that seem sensational or shocking. Over time, these rumors can start to feel like common knowledge. But if you scratch the surface, you'll see the big gap between these myths and actual medical research. It's worth noting that sexual chemistry and satisfaction rely on emotional connection, communication, trust, and understanding, traits that have nothing to do with the exact width of one's hips or the shape of one's nose. Moving toward body positivity and accurate knowledge. Rather than focusing on rumors, everyone benefits from understanding the real diversity and complexity of female anatomy. According to the British Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the range of normal vaginal lengths and shapes is quite broad, and factors like muscle tone, often linked to pelvic floor exercises, can significantly influence sensations during intimacy. That's why many medical professionals suggest Kegel exercises, a balanced lifestyle, and open communication with partners as the keys to sexual well-being, things that have absolutely nothing to do with whether you've got gap teeth or big cheeks. If you're ever in doubt or have concerns about your own body, it's always best to speak with a qualified healthcare provider rather than relying on folklore or rumor. The more we educate ourselves about actual anatomy and the true factors that influence sexual health, the less power these myths will have in shaping our self-esteem or expectations. Wrapping up myths about women's bodies are widespread and can cause confusion, embarrassment, or even insecurity. While they make for entertaining chatter, they don't stand on solid scientific ground. From small noses to big butts, from gap teeth to thigh gaps, none of these features can definitively tell you anything meaningful about a woman's private anatomy or her sexual abilities. What does matter is how we approach our own bodies and those of our partners. with respect, open-mindedness, and an understanding that every body is beautifully unique. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you come across any of these myths before? Do you think cultural influences are behind these persistent beliefs? Let's keep the conversation going and continue to debunk the misconceptions that hold us back from embracing authentic sexual wellness. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss our latest updates. Your support means the world to us. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps share our message with a wider audience. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoyed the content, type yes in the comments below. If it didn't resonate with you, let me know by typing no. Your feedback is incredibly valuable and helps me craft videos that better suit your interests. Thank you so much for joining me in this exploration of the curious myths and truths about a woman's body. Always remember that the most important aspect of sexual health is honest communication, both with yourself and with your partners, and a willingness to learn from credible sources rather than rumors. Embrace your body, honor your partner's uniqueness, and never stop educating yourself about what truly matters for your health and happiness. Disclaimer: this content is for informational and educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical advice. Always consult with a healthcare provider for personalized guidance regarding your individual situation.